Hello and thank you very much for joining us tonight. This is Majority Caucus. We are coming live from our studios here in Accra. We are live on your multi TV. For tonight, we'll be looking at a very, very critical issue that is on the minds of many Ghanaians, I know. It has to do with the vetting of one of the president's nominee. I'm referring to Nana Oye, later Minister Designate for the Ministry of Age, Gender and Social Protection, if you like. Many are those who are a bit confused as to whether or not she made her stance on gay or homosexuality clear, and therefore they are raising all sort of concerns, and to that extent it warrants our attention to take a second look on this issue about gay and whether or not Nana Oye later discharged herself before the vetting committee of Parliament creditably. To help with this discussion, I have been joined by Mr. Fred Agbenyo, who is a member of the NDC and the government communication team. Many thanks, Fred, for your time here.
Thanks, Ali.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention, my name is Ali Dawood. I'll be your host for tonight. But before we proceed with our discussion, let's take a quick one, at some excerpts during the vetting, what Nana Oye said.
You are a mother. If any of your son comes home after 18 with another man and his family, that they are coming so that pay dowry, so that you accept that they marry, what will you do?
In terms of my son, in terms of that question of my son, that is personal and that is private. And I have a right to privacy. This is about my competence, my capacity, my experience, and my skills to be part of a team and to be part of a team to implement gender mainstreaming and social interventions in Ghana. Thank you.
Right. Honorable Akwesi, if you represent Ghana at any international forum and this matter comes up, how will you represent us? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I believe I have made my position very clear. And what I have said is that the issue of whether or not Ghana should accept homosexuality is a societal issue. It's an issue that Ghana itself, as a state, should discuss, debate, and decide upon. Secondly, I have not said anywhere that I will promote homosexuality. What I have said and what I have done is to protect the human rights of everybody. This is what I have done. And so if I go to, be it international fora, be it the village grounds of Nungwa or Shama or Bukom, I will say that I protect the human rights of everybody in Ghana, because that is what I have read from the Constitution and that is what I believe in. And I would leave the issue of whether or not homosexuality should be accepted to the society to decide upon.
Thank you very much for joining us once again. This is Majority Caucus, still live on your multi-TV. Fred, from what you've just seen, many are those who insist that perhaps Nana Oyelita failed to appreciate that this is one of the finest, if not the last opportunity, for her to really make her, stance unambiguous before the people of Ghana. And they thought that she was dilly-dallying, circumventing the issues. Is there a view that you share?
Well, Ali, thank you very much for the opportunity for having me, and good evening to our viewers. I think, to be very, very honest and straight to the point, I think she distinguished herself as a principled person. She stood by a principle she has espoused all this while, and she wants to defend that principle. That is how she came across to me. People may have their reservations and views about the way and the manner she conducted herself and the answer she gives to the question. But to the extent that that is what she believes in, that every Ghanaian, irrespective of your association, irrespective of your belief systems and what you do in the open and in the private, must be protected and respected, she is willing to do that as an advocate and as a lawyer. I am getting a bit worried, but let me start off by saying that all of us in our Ghanaian society, our culture, it frowns so much on lesbianism, gayism, and what have you. I am a Christian first and foremost. My religion frowns heavily on that. I know African traditional religion frowns on that. Islamic religion does same. And our very culture practice does not permit any such things. Okay. The argument I've heard a woman make repeatedly is that she's not supporting gays or lesbians. She's supporting human rights. Okay. And these are enshrined in our constitution, that every individual has some rights. And those rights must be protected. I cannot say, for instance, or we cannot say that somebody is arrested on the street, allegedly stolen a goat or a sheep or whatever it is, then you pounce on him and start beating him because he has stolen something. Our laws prescribe that you are take him to the police and allow him to go to the due process of the law. You cannot say that because, in your opinion, somebody is a gay, somebody is a lesbian, you don't like it, so you pounce on him and start beating him in the street. You start throwing stones at him in the street. You can't do that. I think that is the point the woman is making. That to the extent that people think they don't like it and want to go the step forward, take a step ahead to go and assault the people or to attack them, to denigrate them, to isolate them, she thinks it's wrong. And I don't know why people are interpreting that to mean that she supports the activities of gays and lesbians. Are we, by the same logic, saying that a lawyer who goes to court to defend thieves and armed robbers supports the activities of thieves and armed robbers?
Let me. That is where I think the confusion is. What I think is clear and very dear to the heart of many is that it is not about whether or not they believe that you don't have to kill them, you don't have to do all that. What people want to know is that Nana Oyelita, do you abhor homosexuality? I mean, the conduct of a homosexual. Do you abhor that act? Is it an act that you are against? And she will go about it, you know, like I said, circumventing the question, trying to say, it looks like to me, she was hiding behind the fundamentals of human rights to make a generic response to every question. When the question is clear, do you dislike or like?
I thought I overheard there was one questioner, I think it was about the last person who spoke on this, lesbians and this thing. He asked her a direct question. Do you support activities of gays and lesbians? And she said no.
Are you sure
yes,
about that?
I think that was about the last.
No, I remember she gave the same response. I would not encourage it, but I would defend the right of every Ghanaian. That's what she kept saying.
Well, I honestly speaking, it is quite a difficult issue.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
Are you convinced that the response, I would defend the right of every Ghanaian, as the right one to, you know, the question posed whether or not you support the act of homosexuality? You
see, I'll take somebody like our dear late former president, Professor Mills. Remember when was it the former head of UK? Is it Gordon Brown? One of them was trying to tight their support they gave to Ghana to these gays, gays and the lesbians and what have you. Professor Mills, Professor Mills was very, very definite that hey, our culture does not permit those things.
Good.
We are a sovereign nation. You cannot determine or dictate for us what we should do. 8 you can take your aids, and we will live in our country and promote our social and cultural beliefs. Very, very explicit. He was not ambiguous about that position. I would have wished that under the circumstances, Nana Oyelita appeared sane. But like I said, my initial reaction, the woman wanted to just be principled on what she believes in. That's the impression I got. I am not saying she was right or she was wrong, but she gave me the impression that she believes they are human beings fundamentally. She believes they have their rights. She believes their rights must be protected. I heard her saying that we need to debate it further as to if we want to encourage such activities in Ghana or not. That is my point of departure. Because the late president, who represents the embodiment and the soul of this country, was very explicit when he said, we don't agree to that practice.
Okay.
And to the extent that nobody else has changed that, the current president has not changed that position, Parliament or the law-making agent, nobody has changed that position. I would have wished that the position of Ghana is obvious on this subject, that we don't like it, we don't want to accept it, we don't want to encourage it.
That is a good note, and that is where my next question flows from. You mentioned a thing about culture and the fact that the president, indeed, she made some allusion to the fact that what she's saying is not too different from what the late president said. But people have begged to differ to the extent that he was very categorical and emphatic.
Yeah.
And in her situation, like I said, she keeps dodging. And you mentioned a thing about culture. The president talked about the Ghanaian traditional society. Clearly, it's not in tandem with such, if you like, ideological principles and practices. It is alien to our traditional setup. And when that is where I think Baba Jamal was coming from, Honorable Baba Jamal. He said, if you look at the Constitution under Article 11, Clause 3 to be precise, it says that customary laws are part of the laws of Ghana.
That's right.
Even though Constitution stands supreme. But the Criminal Code is also, if you like, a derivative of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution, the Criminal Code, I'm aware, it's not inconsistent with the Constitution. Otherwise, it will be thrown away.
Yeah.
So to that extent, is it not right to say that since our culture abhors this, therefore our customary law also clearly does not agree with it? And if our customary law does not agree with it, and our Constitution recognizes our customary law, therefore it's a clear stance that Nana Oye should distance herself from. There's nothing else for her to say.
You see, like I said,
I want you to hold on with your response. Let me go for a quick commercial break. I will be right back. Stay with me. Hello, welcome back to Majority Caucus. We'll be looking at some fallout from the vetting committee, which specific regards to Nana Oyelita, her performance and her responses vis-a-vis the question that were thrown at her. Yeah, Fred.
You see, Ali, what I hate most in my life is hypocrisy and lies. I want people to be who they are and present themselves as such. It's to that extent that I am applauding Nana Oyelita. Nana Oyelita didn't appear before the vetting committee and create the impression because she wants a position. Let me quickly shift my stand and position on this whole subject matter. That is where I am coming from. That to that extent, I applaud her. That yes, everybody is bashing you. The Christian, some clergymen have come out. I've heard news issue a statement this evening. Several people, members of our community, are condemning her position on this issue. But the woman didn't bend backwards because she thinks that necessarily she must do that so she can get the position. To that extent, I need to applaud her. But like you rightly said, our constitution is very consistent with the criminal code. It's consistent with our traditional law, as you rightly quoted, 11.3 of the Constitution. So, I don't think there's anybody in our country today who can openly say that, as for me, I believe in lesbianism, I believe in gayism, we should encourage it. But the truth remains that these things were happening quietly around us. Long before now, go to our secondary schools, we have heard of all these stories. And it's not as if it's an emergent something. It's something people have practiced over the period. Are we not being sycophantic and hypocritical about it? If we think that really that the former president clearly stated that we don't want it, it is not part of our culture, we cannot stand by it, let us rise up, let us get parliament making a very emphatic. I know there's a law about this carnal sex and what have you, that they want to rope the criminal code, that they want to rope this and that. We should come out with a definite law that Ghana as a republic, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. When you are caught or you are found doing it, these are the punishments that goes with it. My difficulty, perhaps just like Madam Oyelita, is where some individuals, we are so pious, we think that we are so righteous, holier than thou. You pounce on people in public and want to maltreat them because you claim they are doing what is wrong. That is my difficulty. We should come out, we should make it very clear. Constitution is there. All our law, let's state it. Lesbianism, gayism, we don't like it, we don't want it. If you are caught, these are the punishments. And let's face whatever sanctions the West want to face on us. Then we know we have taken a position. But the way we are going about it, oh, we don't want it. Our society frowns on it. Meanwhile, people are doing it in the society. We know them. They live with us. If today I was on a program, somebody who says, oh, I know a lot of them. Even big men are involved. I asked him why. Are you an associate? Big men are always involved in everything, though. And I asked him, are you an associate member? When they say you know them. So let's even assume per his submission that he knows them. If you know them, several others know them. They are doing these things all over around us. Why, when it comes to discussing it in the public, then we pretend as if...
Let's look at it from this angle. The opposing argument has been that Nana, we understand that you need to defend the fundamental human rights. That is constant. Like Honorable Benjamin Kumbo, the majority leader, pointed out at the twilight of the activities of the vetting committee, appointment committee. He said they have two rights. It's just like a thief. He has two rights. In fact, he wants to enjoy two rights. One that is guaranteed.
That's right.
Because you are human.
That's right.
Which is that if you find them to be anti-constitutional, if you find them to engage in a conduct that it is ultra-violent to the constitution,
that's right,
you do not have the law in your hands to maltreat them.
That's right.
That is the right that they have.
That's right.
But they do not have the right to engage in homosexual activity. That is not a fundamental right.
That's right.
That is a right that has been condemned by the criminal code,
which all Ghanaians are also condemning.
But Nanoye did not condemn it.
I am not too sure she didn't. You see,
she said she will protect
it is sad.
Their fundamental rights.
It is sad, and I really sincerely apologize to our viewers if I come across as defending Madam Oyelita.
There's nothing wrong when you defend her.
I am just trying to understand her position and what she's trying to put across. That, yes, we disagree with the practice. It is wrong. That is not anybody's right. But the extent that people want to go beyond because we don't like the practice, so let's attack them. Let's beat them. Let's insult them. Let's alienate them.
I think once again, I don't want to say you want to behave like Oye later.
I'm
beating them, everybody understands that they do not have the right to do that. But what they also want them to appreciate is that they don't have the right to be gay because the laws of Ghana don't allow it.
So if they don't have the right per our laws to be gays,
yes,
what are we doing as a society? I am not too sure as we live in this country, in fact, I can be corrected on this, that anybody has been picked up, that you are a gay, you are a lesbian, the fellow has been arraigned before a court and tried and punished. I've not heard of any such things happening in our country.
So you think the law
and we pretend as if these things are not happening, they are happening. Okay. So if indeed they are enshrined in our laws, then let us see the law work. Let us go to the hideouts. Not too long ago, we heard about some meetings that took place in Takoradi, a whole hotel we are told.
Well, I have some report that the law has been tested before. Somebody actually has been convicted. I don't know how. Well, I'm yet to verify.
Well, but the way, the manner we hear about this issue, the widespread.
Let me put it to you this way. You said, Nana Oye, you admire and commend her for one thing. that she did not bend backwards
Yeah.
simply because she wants to enjoy the comfort that comes with the ministerial appointment.
That's right.
And therefore she stood her ground, which ground is that she still would defend
The rights of all Ghanaians.
but the NDC policy as a government is clear.
That's
as, espoused by the late president. The government of the NDC abhors the homosexual activity. And so she doesn't share the vision of the NDC, and she wants to be part of the NDC government.
I am not too
Are we
sure,
not putting square pegs in round holes?
I am not too sure Nana Oyelita said she welcomes the activities of gay.
She didn't condemn it. She never did.
You see, like you rightly said, the constitution is supreme. The position of the National Democratic Party that today is in government, our position on gayism too is clear and obvious. On the event that Nana Oyelita is giving the nod to become the minister at that particular ministry, she is going to toe the line of the party and the government.
You don't think her
I don't
personal
see how-
beliefs will
how
come
is she going
into
to do it?
conflict?
Are we going to have a situation where Nana Oyelita will travel abroad and go and agree somewhere that, okay, Ghana now, the flag door has been opened for people to do
For
gay
instance,
business?
Honorable Yeletre posed the question that if you should go abroad and represent Ghana and the Ghanaian view about homosexuality, what would you say with emphasis? Because Ghanaians condemn it, and she doesn't.
Well, I think that it's quite a challenging situation. Like I said, all of us are against the practice. I want to sincerely believe Nana Oyelita too is against the practice of lesbians and gayism. She said she's married and she has about 3 children.
But she refused to answer the question, the hypothetical scenario posed, you know.
Yeah, I felt it was very, very unfortunate. I thought it was an opportunity for her to have stated her position really on this side with that particular hypothetical question that was put to her. But that's why she decided to say that's a private issue. She doesn't want to discuss it.
The last time I checked, issues of sexual orientation have always been private.
No, it's unfortunate. You are coming to preside over a ministry.
But it's only private to the extent that it's not in violation of the law.
Of course, that is it. And I felt really that it was unfortunate, that particular question, she didn't really address the question to my satisfaction. Because, why? You are coming to be the minister, you are going to be handling such issues with other children involved, other people's children involved. So if you cannot discuss what you do, should that happen to you in your house, how are you going to handle that of other people? And I felt she didn't give very satisfactory answer to that particular question. But by and large, I am of the view that the woman has not said very emphatically that she supports the activities of gay practice, that she endorses it, that is right. What I've heard her say repeatedly is that their rights must be respected.
I will go for my final break, but when we come back, we'll put it to Fred Agbanyo, my guest here, that she wrote an article where she indeed made her position clear, endorsing the act, not condemning really. She refused to condemn and encouraged Ghanaians to come along with her point of view. Stay tuned, I will be right back. Hello and welcome back to the show. This is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV. Issues discussed so far, Nana Oye's responses at the Parliamentary Appointment Committee, and the guest in the house tonight is Mr. Fred Agbanyo, member of the NDC and the Government Communication Team. Fred, let's look at the
article.
Yes, the article, that is one where as referred to by Honorable Kujetu Ablakwa, that position appears to be changing when she appeared before the committee. But I'm sure that it was linked to all the issues that we've discussed so far. But let's look at the lack of party affiliation. We have seen Professor Jane and Nana Oyelita. These are people who are politically neutral, if you like, and the NDC forming the government. It's about vision, you know, the better Ghana. They insist that they believe in the president's better Ghana agenda, and that is why they are coming on board. Yet they don't believe in the president party philosophical ideas. I find it difficult to reconcile these two. Is there anything you want to say?
Well, Ali, I think it's quite a difficult position, but I've always had a view, and I think I stand by that view, that if Mother Ghana must develop, if Ghana really must become what all of us wanted to see it become, then we must rally all the human resources that we have in this country at every point in time towards developing this country. And I am not one of those who think that one must necessarily be a party member before he's given the opportunity to serve this country. To the extent that you have some abilities, to the extent that you have some skills, you have some competence, you want to bring to bear on the development of this country, I think that if the opportunity is there, the opportunity must be given to you. But that must not be done at the expense of party members. If you are a party member, alias you're sitting here, you have worked so hard for the party and all that, and you have the same qualification and the same skills and ability like that person, they should not bypass you and go and pick that person. That is a fundamental principle. But if you are also coming to join a team, NDC does not exist in a vacuum. We know what NDC represents. We have a philosophy of an ideology. We have a driving force by which we are moving. So if we are inviting you to come and join us so that we build Mother Ghana, you must first of all pause, assess yourself. Am I willing to go by the philosophy of the party? Do I believe in the party's manifesto? Am I ready to be a team player? Because this is teamwork eventually. So if you are convinced that you can do those, you believe in those, then you come on board. You cannot come and say, for example, that I don't eat chicken, but when chicken is prepared, they used to prepare soup, you go and take the soup and say, don't take the chicken. You must believe in it. You must believe in the cause. You must believe in the vision. That is the only time you can do it, total commitment. So if anybody is given an appointment now by the president and the fellow comes to say that, well, I believe in the president's Better Ghana agenda, but does not believe in the philosophy of NDC and blah, 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 blah. I don't know exactly what the fellow is saying, but because the Better Ghana agenda comes from our vision, comes from our philosophy. That is where it took its root. So I don't know. I don't know what the position is.
I've been signaled that we have some minutes more to go, not too little, let me say. So we'll quickly take a look at Professor Nana Opoku Jane's responses at the vetting committee, and then Professor Jane, if we have it, if we don't, we would make a quick detour to Hannah Tete's appearance before the committee.
On the issue of passports, it is very thorny. Now, I want to ask you, whether within 4 years that if you are approved, you'll be able to facilitate the issuing of passports at the district capitals. For me, there's no need for somebody to travel all the way from Krashi to Ho, or from Agave to Sogago.
I think the nominee has addressed this question.
She said that it will be at the regional level. And I'm saying that to facilitate it at the district level.
Sorry, viewers, we really had wanted to look at Professor Jane's response, but sorry, we couldn't get you that feedback quickly. Madam Hannah Tete has been sworn in, is that right?
Yeah, she's been sworn in.
Okay.
She's now the substantive Minister of Foreign Affairs. And I was not surprised when her name came up for that particular ministry. She has distinguished herself so much. And I pray and hope that the good Lord in heaven will continue to grant her wisdom to do far and more at this new position. Okay.
But the reason I wanted us to look at Professor Jane, Minister Designate for Education, is that I think one question was posed to her, and the chairman, unfortunately, disqualified the question. Really, it's about the three wise men. But now there's an interesting title, exclusive to Multi TV Majority Caucus. They are now known as MP3 because they are all three of them are MPs, so they are known as MP3. So let's look at this MP3 wise men thing. And the Honorable Kujetu thought that this is a question that she must answer, and largely I was there. A lot of people were a bit disappointed that the chairman did not allow her to answer that question. They thought that this coordination thing is just an impediment to the smooth flow of activities at the ministry. It directly falls under her ministry when it comes to building of 200 school buildings and universities and all that?
Well, first of all, I don't know what informed the decision of the chairman to overrule that particular question, because I also thought that was a very important question for her to have spoken to. But again, people must get something straight, that President John Mahama is President John Mahama. He's not President John Rawlings. He's not President Kufuor. He's not President Atta Mills. He's a different person, and he wants to do something different. Now, all ministries have their duties and roles that they've played over the period. Their demarcations are well spelled out and clear. Everybody knows that education is supposed to do this, works and housing, this is what you do, and what have you. Now, if you go back to NDC manifesto, we specifically made some promises. We made some pledges. Those promises and pledges cannot necessarily fall under ministries and be part of their budget. If you just want to allow the ministries to execute those things, the president wants to have an eye on it. He wants to know what is happening every blessed day, every minute, how far is that going on? Because that is the reason why the Republicans voted for him.
That is a mark of lack of confidence in the sector minister, that she really can't handle the job, and that she needed assistance of this.
That is not it. Like I rightly said, the ministries have their domains, they have their core duties that they are supposed to perform. They are going to continue to perform those particular ones. If you go back to our manifesto, for example, it says that we have been able to eliminate about 40% of the school at fees. We want to finish the other 60%. This directly comes squarely under the Ministry of Education, and that True Gets Fund, or which other is they are going to do it. But we are talking about specific campaign promise, 200 day secondary schools. President wants to see that in his office. We have promised 10 teacher training colleges. President wants to see that. We have promised a university at Nana Akufo-Addo's region, Eastern region. The people of the region want to have a public university. The president wants to see that executed within this period. We have promised some job employment opportunities for the people. We have spoken about this energy for all by 2016. So we have specific promises we have made. President wants to see those things executed. We don't want a situation where by 2016, 2015 we are going for elections, then we start giving excuses, oh, we couldn't do this, blah, blah. He wants to know it. So for me, it's a novelty, if you want to call it that way. It's something new the president is doing. I think that will coexist. If at the end of the day, all of us want to get to Kumasi, that's the core objective. And I leave you are the one leading, driving, and I'm resting. When I'm telling you to come and drive, it doesn't spoil anything. But what is significant is that all of us eventually agree that we are a team. Our final destination is Kumasi. Once we get there, we thank God.
But the argument also is that these are experienced ministers, if not MPs, and that they know their way through. And Professor Jane largely is not a politician, a typical politician that we know. Some people are beginning to smell big rats that they perhaps are going to bully her, make her work difficult, and creates, all sort of problems for her.
I don't think we can underrate the abilities and then the intelligence of Madam Minister designate. Somebody was, I think this is the first female vice chancellor of our country. It tells you her experience and what she can do. I am very excited when they pick somebody who's not an NDC person.
This is politics, not university.
I agree. They have brought her here and I can't be there because she was there. She was a vice chancellor when they were going on strikes, they were going on demonstration. NAT is going, UTAG is going, everybody is going. Now one of your own is the one now manning the affairs. Let's see how she brings experience outside of the politics to bear.
Absolutely.
On that issue about the MP3s or whatever you want to call them, for me, early, we don't buy experience from anywhere. Today, we are here today.
2 minutes, quickly. I have 2 minutes. I want to know if you were satisfied with the response about her position on the free SHS thing. It looks like she adopted a neutral role, and I thought perhaps that is a big blow to the government.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't listen to her very well.
She said she would want to propose a new formula. She neither disagrees nor would approve, and the government she's going to serve in is necessarily not ready for
if indeed she said that, then that's most unfortunate, because as a political party and as a government, we have a position.
Let me tell you what she said. She said, as a country, she thinks the question should rather be, what do we want our children to become? What do we want for them?
That is not a position of NDC.
Absolutely.
All these questions came up during the campaigning. NPP brought their position, NDC brought ours, CPP, PNC, everybody brought his. Okay. At the end of the day, the people of this country bought into our ideas. So we must execute our idea. It's not as if we are now going to change the way. We are now going to ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Okay. We have a position, and that position, Ghana must see that happening.
Okay, and I want to say many thanks to you, Fred Agbanyo. It's very, very unfortunate that when good things are happening, you know, as it were, time runs very, very fast. But a special birthday dedication to Fred Agbanyo in studio. Tomorrow is his birthday, so this is an exclusive wish from Multi TV and Majority Caucus. But for you out there, make a date with me next time, same place, you know, same channel. Till then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.